Hey there, I'm Yankel, and this is my chicken breast recipe. This recipe checks all the boxes. Tender, flavorful, delicious, and always juicy. Stick around, I'll show you how. So we're gonna do a really simple but delicious baked chicken breast recipe. I'm gonna give you a couple chef's tips on making sure they are tender and juicy every single time. And we'll answer some of the frequently asked questions such as, how long do I bake them for? What temperature do I bake them at? It's gonna be amazing. So I'm gonna begin by adding my ingredients to a bowl, mixing it up. And we're using some ingredients that I think really highlight these free-range organic chicken breasts nicely. They have such a great flavor, so we're just gonna bring that out. So I'm starting with some lemon zest to add a little bit of citrus. And the reason I'm using lemon zest instead of just lemon juice is because I don't want too much steam in the oven. We're gonna look to brown these chicken breasts up really nicely. Some fresh chopped parsley. We're going with rosemary. A nice pinch of fresh cracked black pepper. Some kosher salt. A little bit. We're gonna bring it all together with some olive oil. And olive oil will also help the chicken breast brown up nicely. And then we're gonna add a splash of balsamic vinegar just for a little bit extra acidity, a little bit extra flavor, and a little bit of sweetness. All right, and now what I'm gonna do is I wanna make sure the chicken breasts cook really evenly and quickly, and I want as much brown on the surface as possible. So I'm actually going to end up cutting them in half into fairly equal sized pieces. And you notice you have a skinny part and a fatter part, so I'm going to lean a little bit towards the fatter part, so that's a little bit of a smaller piece, and then the skinny part is almost equal in size. We're gonna put those right into our marinade, just like that. Now we're gonna mix all of this together, make sure it's really nicely coated, herbs everywhere, lemon zest everywhere, a good amount of oil and vinegar. So now we're gonna lay them out onto our tray, and what we're gonna do is we wanna make sure that there's a good amount of space between each chicken breast. That'll allow the hot air in the oven to really reach them all evenly. So I'm just gonna start by putting them down on the tray, and you see if I've got one of the flatter pieces, I'm just gonna tuck it a little bit underneath, and that'll kind of make it a little bit more uniform so it cooks more evenly. That way, no piece is cooking faster than another piece. Here we go. Already smells really good, and don't leave any of that good marinade behind. Now for the finishing touch on these chicken breasts, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a little bit of nutty flavor, and we're gonna add an element that's going to crisp up really nicely on top, and that's some fresh grated Parmesan. Right over the top of each breast. Such a simple touch, something easy to have around. Parmesan will last for a very long time in the fridge, and it adds a nice element to everything you put it on. So we're going for a fairly thin, light coating just over the top, not too clumpy, so that it crisps up really nicely. The moment you've all been waiting for, this is the important information. Preheat your oven to 425, and then you're gonna cook the chicken breasts for 20 to 25 minutes. Now, typically what I do is I set a timer for 20 minutes, I pop them in the oven. At 20 minutes, I'll check the temperature. If I'm right around 160, headed towards 165, I'm gonna change the oven to broiler mode, and we're gonna crisp that top up beautifully. Let's go. Let's get our oven preheated. So we're going to bake, and we're going to 425. And we're gonna give the oven about 15 to 20 minutes to really get up to temp. We wanna start at a high temperature right away. Our oven is preheated to 425. We are ready to go. So I'm going into the oven, center rack, right in the middle, and we are setting a timer for exactly 20 minutes. It's been 20 minutes. Let's take a look. Oh yeah. That chicken looks beautiful. So for the final few minutes, we're gonna go to broil, and we're gonna put it right up on the top shelf, as close to the broiler as possible. Now, I say 5 minutes, but you should not walk away from this because sometimes broilers can cook things very quickly. So we're gonna just keep an eye on it every minute or so, and when it's the perfect crispiness, we'll pull it out. Oh yeah, those look so good. So here is the final trick to making sure that your chicken breasts stay nice and juicy. I'm gonna let them sit in the juices in the pan for a couple of minutes. I'm gonna squeeze some fresh lemon juice over the top, and this is really when they're at their most absorbent. So they're really gonna just take in all of that lemony flavor rather than burning it off in the oven as it evaporates as they cook. And then, of course, A little sprinkle of fresh herbs just over the top. So we're gonna let them sit in the pan for about 5 minutes, just so they reabsorb any juices that are in the pan right now. Here we go, onto our platter. Those look pretty darn good to me. And you definitely wanna save whatever juice is still left in the pan to pour right over the top. Of course, I'm not gonna stop there. Why not a little bit more grated parm? And whatever's left. No more excuses. All of your chicken breasts will be juicy, tender, and delicious from now on. Just remember, the trick is pretty high temperature, pretty short amount of time. Let them sit in the pan for a little while before you move them. It's gonna be perfect. I'm Yankel, go cook something.